are so happy that you're here. You found your way to this building. For many people, I can see this is for the first time. I see quite a few first faces here, and that is great. So this afternoon's program, we will be focusing on cooperative learning. And so I can assure you, you're not just going to be sitting like this, all right? To get us going, I thought I'll ask you a question that is a sort of a favorite question of mine now. And the question is, and this is to discuss with the person next to you, in twos, all right? Discussion in twos. What has brought you joy this week?
Good afternoon, Mr. Madoda. Has the pleasure, I'm not sharing his, I hope he can share mine. Okay, he just told me that he is taking 30 children to the Cricket World Cup. Kaya licha children, so isn't that wonderful?
Is it space in your bag?
I have the pleasure of having a garden at school. And I just told Mr. Madoda, that over a period of time with the school leavers, we've planted protea shrubs. And this year, we're having our first Madiba protea that's going to bloom. And that, to me, is a big joy.
The colleague next to me is actually excited. She is taking one of her learners, grade 7 learner, to India. She won the chess.
I want to ask you, do you have space in your bag? Wow. This is amazing. The joys, those are truly joys because our children's from Crossroads, nogal. Yeah. Going across the world to India, nogal. And chess. Wonderful. One more person. That's she wants to add.
It's not just India. I've got 4 learners that are going to play in Kimberley during the school holidays, and 1 that is going to play in Durban. The one that is going to India is for Commonwealth. Yes. Last week we were at Mossel Bay. They were playing the Western Cape province, and she was rated #1 in the province.
I want to then say something very important. You know, this program was sponsored by my school, my village, my planet. And amazingly, yesterday was the first time we ran this program in Swellendam. Okay? So we can stretch our wings every time, every few months, so often we're going to try and take it into the Malmesbury's perhaps, Christine, and take it out there, you know. So the opportunities just to share something powerful like this is always there. So I'm very excited that we have a partnership with my school. One of the interesting things that many people don't understand, that you can get a My School card. Now when you get a My School card, you can get the money donated, make the school a beneficiary. And as a result of that, whenever you swipe your card at any Woolworths store, the money, percentage of it goes back to your school. So today, we have My School cards that we can give you immediately. So you can sign up today and become a participant, and your school will be able to benefit. So as you leave this afternoon, please, if you don't have a My School card yet, why not make your school a beneficiary of some of the amazing opportunities? Some schools are making big amounts on a monthly basis as a result of getting not only themselves signed up, but people in their school community to sign up. And as a result of that, asking them to make the school a beneficiary. So please see this is an opportunity to fundraise for your school as well. This afternoon, we are very happy to have Wilfred Reynolds with us this afternoon from Kagan. And Wilfred will be encouraging us to pursue something called cooperative learning. And I have seen this years ago, but certainly it's come back to the fore of saying something amazing can be done. And so Wilfred, we're looking forward to engage with you this afternoon. Cool. Welcome, and thank you for your time.
Are you feeling a little uncomfortable sitting in groups of 4? Okay, so if this was a cooperative learning school class, what I would have is I would have you at tables of 4, and you would each, we didn't manage to get tables here today, but you would each have a number, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you'd each be A or B partners. So I want you to kind of imagine that. I'll use some of that today. But what I'm going to ask you is to please just get into teams of 4. So if you don't mind me moving you around. All right, well, please say hi to your teammates. There we go. Okay, are you guys okay? Can you see past me? All right, so Kagan Cooperative Learning, their byline is it's all about engagement. Who of you want your kids engaged at school? In the class? We all want that. Okay, briefly, how do I come to be here? 3 years ago, a friend of mine who's an ex-Karoo sheep farmer, who runs a very successful Master Maths franchise in KZN, said to me, Wilfred, I'm an ex-KZN cattle farmer, now in teaching for quite a long time. He said to me, Wilfred, I've heard about Kagan Cooperative Learning. I'm going to Orlando, Florida, to their summer academy to see what it's about, and if I think it's good, we're going to start a franchise in South Africa. And I want you to come and do the training for me. I said, okay, cool. We went over there. We were blown away. What's happened is kind of history now. I'm one of the first, well, I am the first trainer. We have others. I'm training here in the Western Cape. We've opened a franchise, and we're trying to get this gospel out to convert as many of you as possible into cooperative learning. Okay, who's heard about cooperative learning before? You can put your hand up if you've heard about it. Okay, so maybe it's new to a number of you. I thought, well, what am I going to do in the 1 hour that Selwyn gave me? I'm going to try and give you a little bit of a taste of it, but I also want to give you a little bit of the theory. There will be a test afterwards, so please listen. And those of you who are hoping to win those prizes there, if I catch you playing on your cell phone, I'm taking it away. I'm joking. All right. Cooperative learning has been around about 35 to 40 years. Kagan Cooperative Learning, the name Kagan comes from the name of the people who started this. They've been around about 35 years in the United States, plus they have franchises all over the place. But actually, don't take my word for this, Google it, and believe them rather. Cooperative learning is the most researched instructional methodology out there. You may not know that. What I'm showing you is just some percentages and other things that comes from a meta-analysis that a chap, Marzano, did some while back. He looked at all the research that compared cooperative learning with traditional instruction, whatever you think traditional instruction is, and said, is it worth it? And over 822 studies, the meta-analysis came up with a percentage of 28% increase. That's academic achievement increase. Measurable marks at school in assessments. If that doesn't turn you on, I don't know what else will. Do we want something like that? For sure, I want it. Okay, not only academic achievement, social skills are built. Do we want that for our kids? What about the 21st century skills? Communication skills. We want that. What about creativity? Cooperative learning is brain friendly. Kids are far more creative in a cooperative learning classroom, so their creativity is much better. What about the 21st century skill of collaboration, working in teams? Do we want that? That's why I put you in teams, or I would put my classroom in teams. What about critical thinking skills? We need these too. Do you think that the fourth industrial revolution is going to take away the need for those skills that we've just seen? Most definitely not. The technology, as much as we think about artificial intelligence, etc., you know what? We need those skills. Okay, so the great thing with cooperative learning is it increases those as well. And it's all about engagement. You'll see that cooperative learning radically increases the engagement of kids at school. And that's mainly where our problems lie with discipline and other things. Okay. Do you want your kids to have better self-esteem? I want that. I taught at a high school for 5 years, probably for my sins, which must have been many. But I was the geography department, I was the biblical studies department, and I was the EMS, which was then business economics department. That's how small the school was. Okay, very interesting bunch of kids at that school. And I noticed that their self-esteem was very low. So I spent lots of time building their self-esteem up. Not so much time on the curriculum. By the way, we did have a 100% matric pass rate. So I didn't do too badly there. But after a while, I suddenly realized, you know, I'm developing here self-confident illiterates. That's not what I want. I've got to be doing the academic stuff too, but at the same time I can be doing something about self-esteem, and that's what cooperative learning is hoping to achieve. The interesting thing is, in a cooperative learning class, discipline issues go down. And in the States, they did a study, many principals get asked by other principals where they are using cooperative learning, what is your discipline strategy? They said, we haven't changed anything, but cooperative learning has lowered our discipline problems. Why would that be? Well, in cooperative learning, we go with the basic needs of the kids. What are the basic needs of our kids? Love. Acceptance by who? Ah, okay. So there's lots of basic needs, mainly two. Okay, they want to move and they want to talk with their peers. And what do we say to them? Sit down, shut up, listen to me. They're not interested. At what age does that start? Maybe who are grade R teachers here? Okay, nobody. I don't know where you guys come from. Okay, so that's a little bit of a disadvantage for me. But you know, maybe the little grade R's, when they come to school, they want to see their teacher for like a minute, and then after that it's their peers. And with cooperative learning, we tap into the fact that they want to move and want to talk with their peers. So there's less chance of them getting disruptive because their basic needs are being met, which for me is really important. Okay, so if I was a preacher, this would be a good time to say Amen. Okay, so that's okay. Right, I feel sorry for preachers. Okay, we're going to be interacting. Do you want to move and to talk with your peers? You're not very convincing. Okay, but I'm going to get you to do that. So we're going to move and we're going to talk with our peers at some time in the next little while. So I'm going to need a quiet signal just to get order back to this engaged group of people. So here's my quiet signal. While you are busy talking out there and I need your attention, I'm going to do this. High five, please. What do I expect from you? I expect from you, when you do that, when I say that, to put your hand up. That indicates to me that you heard me, and hopefully you understood me. I want you then to either stop talking or writing, whatever you're doing. Focus on teacher, and signal others. So if you've got your hand up and you're focusing on me and you see others aren't, you like, just signal them. Okay, can you do that? And I'm wanting that to happen in 3 to 5 seconds. Okay, this is my first thing I teach the kids. Okay, dead right, let's see how this works. So I'd like you, in your groups please, just the group of 4 that you've had, we're going to have a little group discussion. And I want you to just think about and then tell your group, what do you or other teachers that you know, or the teachers at your school or whoever, what do you do now to get quiet in your classrooms? Please discuss that. Hands up if you think that that was cooperative learning. Okay, I kind of conned you into that, didn't I? That is not cooperative learning. Okay, and I'll tell you why. If it was, well, what did I see when I looked out here? Okay, here's what I saw. I saw some of you turning out. Okay, interested to get the stuff out. Someone else listening thinking, oh, whatever. Okay, and when it was my turn, it was like a lot of hitchhiking. I'll just go with whatever you said. Yeah, no, that's cool. Okay, if it was cooperative learning, there would be much more equal participation. How do I get equal participation? I have to structure for it. I have to give you a structure within which to work. A group, excuse me, a group discussion doesn't provide that structure. And if we don't provide it for kids, can they give it for themselves? No, not easily. Okay, I'm going to come back to that, but if you look there, it says E, equal participation. We want kids to participate much more equally. I'll have to structure for that, which I will do later on. Okay, but great stuff, guys. I heard some interesting things. I heard shh. Okay, I heard someone going, that one, 1, 2, 3. You got teachers who do that? Yeah. Okay, I've got other teachers say, hocus pocus, and they say, let's all focus. Okay, and then they carry on doing whatever they're doing. All right. I hope your quiet signal works for you. You need a visual and an audio cue, and kids need to respond to that. Okay, let's get into a little bit sort of more the heart of cooperative learning. To kind of explain cooperative learning well, I need to introduce you to teacher A, teacher B, and teacher C. So teacher A is that traditional teacher. I don't know what you have in your mind about a traditional teacher, but I'm willing to put some money, I'm not a betting person, but I put some money on it to say that probably you and I sat in many traditional classrooms, and perhaps we still do, and perhaps we still teach traditionally. Nothing wrong with it, it's a strategy. Okay, so teacher A and teacher B and teacher C, they all teach. We have to teach a concept. We teach a concept, but after a while we realize we need some engagement here, some active engagement. I need to find out if the kids have heard anything I've said, if they've understood anything, and so we start to engage. Teacher A's, or we start looking for engagement. Teacher A's strategy for getting active engagement in her class is asking questions. Okay, so she asks a question, kids put their hands up, or they don't, and then she asks those who didn't put their hands up to answer the questions. You've done that? Okay, interesting. So I go and coach in lots of classrooms, and sometimes teachers use questions to punish children. Okay, because they ask those who didn't put their hands up, and kids wonder why. Okay. So we ask a question. I just teach and I ask questions. I get a few answers. Judging by the answers I get, I figure, you've got it or you haven't. And then I move on. Why do I use that strategy? Because I've got one tool in my toolbox. And isn't it interesting, if you've got one tool in your toolbox, a hammer, then every problem or every engagement you want looks like a nail. That's how it works, because you've only got one tool. What does teacher B do? Teacher does something slightly different. She teaches, and she realizes that she needs some active, or he, active engagement. So what they use is this tool called group work or group discussion. Who of you use group work? Okay, so do I, just did it. Give group work, you hear teachers saying things like this. Discuss this in your group, like I just said. Or you hear them saying, work together to solve those problems on your worksheet. Okay? And then she moves on, judging by what she sees there. She's got a few extra tools. So she doesn't just ask questions, she's got a few extra ones. Let's see what Teacher C does. Teacher C structures for active engagement slightly differently. Less engagement with teacher, more engagement with peers. Learner-to-learner engagement. So she structures in that way. She uses what Kagan have developed and many other cooperative learning groups, structures. Where I have to structure the interaction to get the outcome that I want. Then she gets student-to-student interaction, and then she moves on. And she has many tools in her toolbox that she can use to get certain outcomes that she wants. Okay. Are you still with me on this one? Okay, dead right. So, teacher A, B, and C, teach 10 minutes, see the need for active engagement. Teacher A, ask questions, take answers, move on. Teacher B, group work, solve this together, move on. Teacher C, teach 10 minutes, student-to-student interaction, let them learn from each other, move on. Okay. That's very, very simple because I'm trying to get through this time. Otherwise, you're going to get cross with me if we go too late. So, I'm going to structure some active engagement, okay, with you, just to model this a little bit. And we're going to do a thing called stand up, hand up, pair up. So when I say go, that's my trigger word. Here's what I would like you to do, please. I want you to stand up. I want you to put your hand up. And I want you to pair up with someone who's close to you, but who is not in your current team. Can you do that? So it's going to look like this. Could I ask you just to stand, you two? Just hold it, other guys. Could you guys just stand? Okay, so we're all standing up. We put our hands up, and then we go to pair up. And we just give each other a high five, and then I'll know that that's my partner. Okay? Okay. How does this poor man feel? Okay, so I don't want to see drive-bys. Okay? All right, in some schools I go to, drive-bys mean different things. But you just pair up with someone. Are you ready to do that? Please be careful you don't trip. Please go.
Okay.
Right, high five, please, guys. High five, please. Thank you. I'm just checking if everybody's got a partner. Hands up if you don't have a partner. Okay, everybody's got a partner. Dead right. So remember, I have to structure for some interaction. I want some interaction from you. And I'm going to structure it, and I'm going to use a thing called a rally robin. Robin in Kagan language means to speak. Rally means to. And as in tennis, I serve. What do? You hit it back, I hit it back, you hit it back, I hit it back, you hit it back. Okay, that's how we're going to structure this interaction. So here's a question. I want you just to think about this with your mouth closed. Make a list in your head of all the things you do now to get your learners engaged in the class? Please build a list in your head. I'll give you a little bit of think time. You're going to get to share that list in a minute, but I'll show you how. What do you do now to get your kids engaged? All right. So when we go, I'm going to choose who goes first. You share one of those ideas, not all of them, one. Then they share one. Then you share one. Then they share one. Then you share one. And so we go. It's a rally robin. Are we ready with that? The person in your pair who is going to go first is the person who has the shiniest shoes. Right, so you share one, they share one, you share one, they share one. Did you notice the time at all? So we've got until about 15:15, I think. Eh?
No, you can go to office.
Oh, no, I'll never go that long. What was he? Thank you. That works quite well. All right. Did you notice that the participation this time was far more equal? Did you feel that you had equal status to your partner? How did we get that? I structured for it. I gave you a simple little structure to do it, and suddenly everybody feels like my idea is just as important as your idea. Okay, but you don't get it unless we structure for it, because the more talkative ones do all the talking and the others do nothing. Okay, so that's what it's about, really. And all the structures that I have that we teach will make sure that there's equal participation, either in time or in turns. Okay, we also want to teach social skills, don't we? Okay, so please will you look at your partner and say something like, "Thank you for working with me. I hope I see you again." Okay, now did that sound a little bit false? Because I told you what to say? Okay, but you know what? You need to tell kids. The social skills we need to be reinforcing all the time. This is all the stuff that your mother or my mother said to me every single day. You got to do it in your classroom too. And the more you reinforce it, when your kid leaves your school, people see that kid walking down the road and say, "There comes a kid from so-and-so primary school," because look at the social skills they have. Okay, so I'm going to obviously try my best in my classroom to make sure that the social skills are built in. We'll have a look at a little bit more like that. Right, please say goodbye to your partner and go back to your original seat. So, for cooperative learning to be cooperative learning and not just group work, yes, we're working in groups, but we've got to have some structure to it. For our group work to become cooperative learning, there are 4 principles that need to be present every time kids interact in groups or pairs. Okay, and there they are there. I don't know if you can see them so well up there, but you'll probably be able to see them much better over here. Okay, and I'm going to go through these because I've got a test for you afterwards. Okay. And I know you guys are thinking, but that's exactly how your kids feel when you tell them they've got a test. Okay, it's exactly. All right, so the first one is this whole idea of positive interdependence. Now, there's memory in movement. In your muscles, there's memory actually. So we're going to learn the kinesthetic symbol or action for positive interdependence. Okay? So please put away your you can stop tweeting now. Okay? It looks like this. Positive. Please do that. There we go. Okay, we got it. So it's positive interdependence. You put your fingers together and squeeze them at the top. Okay? Positive interdependence. So what do we mean by that? Now it's not positive just because it's lekker, it's sharp, you know. What do we mean, or the question we want to ask is, does one doing well help others do well? Okay? So if they are working in their team and one shares a good idea and the other ones learn from it, cooperative learning. Okay? The other question that we ask is, does task completion depend on everyone doing their part? Okay? We don't want kids hiding. They each must have something to do, some role in the structure. When you did that rally robin, did you have that? You each had to do it. You know, you could do rally robin on your own, but like it's not much fun. Okay, so and that's what we're talking about. We want kids to feel. Can I call them kids? Yes. Okay, learners implies they learn stuff, and I know they don't always. So we want students to feel like they're on the same side. We're in this thing together, guys, and we want them to feel like they need each other. And over time, as we structure, that feeling grows until they become a caring, cooperative team of learners who learn from each other. Okay, so that's where we're heading with that one. Individual accountability. Maybe you can't see the kinesthetic symbol too well there, but individual accountability looks like this. Individual. There we go, is memory in your muscles. Individual accountability. I've got my binoculars, like watch here. Okay. So, individual accountability means, or the question we ask is, must everybody perform in front of someone else? If that is present in the way we structure, and they are forced to perform in front of someone else, it's another principle of cooperative learning. In the group discussion that we had earlier, this was missing. Did you notice? I didn't structure it so everyone had to say something. I left it up to you. Sometimes it doesn't happen. So, must everyone perform in front of someone? When you did the rally robin, you had to perform in front of someone else. You were accountable for something. The thing we want is we don't want kids to be able to hide. There's the biggest problem with group work. You know that. Kids hide, and you try and think of ways. How can we get them so they don't hide? Okay? The best way to give them that is we give them a role so that they can do that. They must be accountable for something. The next one is equal participation. You've already seen me do this, but let's do it again. So it's equal participation. Okay? It's not like this. Equal participation. Okay? You see this sometimes, don't you? Okay. In America, they call this the logs and the hogs. Okay? Some lie there like logs, and others hog all the time. Okay. So the question that we ask with that is the participation in the structure that I use approximately equal, either in terms of time or turns? In the rally robin, was the participation approximately equal? You share one, I share one. You share one, I share one. Approximately equal turns. Did I time it? No, but I could, and I do in lots of other structures, where I give one person 30 seconds to answer, and then the other person. Okay, we call that a timed round robin, but that's another story. All right, and then the last one is this whole idea of simultaneous interaction. And it looks like this. Simultaneous interaction. Okay. So what we're doing is, did you notice when I did that, sorry, that's not, I'm using my hands now. In the rally robin that we did earlier, did you notice that I got you all simultaneously interacting? Okay. And the question we ask is this: what percentage of my class is performing, so either speaking or writing, at any given time? If I had to take a snapshot of my classroom while they're doing a structure, what percentage could I see were either speaking or writing? In the rally robin, what percentage of this class were either speaking or writing? What percentage? 50%. We could prove that on a photograph because we'd see lips. Well, we wouldn't see them moving, but you know what I mean. Okay? Of course, the other 50 might be listening, but we can't prove that. That's high engagement, wouldn't you say? Okay, I think we're about 40-something in here. So I got 20-something of you engaged immediately. If I stop as teacher A and ask you a question, so what do you do to get your kids engaged in class? It's 1 out of how many? 40, which sounds to me like 2.5%, which is 1/20th of 50%. So that's what we're aiming for, to get as much engagement as possible to raise that engagement percentage. Okay, do you want to go through those things again? Let's do it. There's a test afterwards. Okay, so positive interdependence. Does one doing well help others? Do we need each other? Okay, individual accountability, individual accountability. Egwacho. Okay, equal participation and simultaneous interaction to raise the engagement percentage. You guys are doing well. Give yourselves a clap. Okie dokes. What I'd like you to do, please, I want you just to, in your teams, just find a partner next to you. So please just find a pair. Just form quick pairs. If you had tables, I would tell you that all the A's and B's get together. Okay? Right. You got pairs going? We're going to do another little structure. It's called pair share. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to try to move what you've just heard that is in your short-term memory, frontal cortex. I'm trying to move it into your longer-term memory because there's a test coming later. Okay? And one of the American trainers, quite an interesting guy, he always says this with a Texas drawl, which I won't try. But he says, verbalization increases internalization. Kids learn much more and remember much more about what when they say it than when you say it. So that's what I'm going to get you to do right now. Okay, so you know you're going to share there. So that's your shoulder partner. If you really are brave, please say, hi, shoulder partner. There we go. Okay. Physical contact's not bad as long as it's appropriate. Okay. Let's decide who's A and B in your partnership. Okay. So A, the person A is the one who has the longest hair. I don't care. Right. Oh. I don't mind. Okay, so person A, you're the one with the longer hair. You're going to start, and I want you to use your whisper voice, and I want you to whisper to B, in your own words, what does P mean, and what does I mean? Off you go. What do we mean by P, and what do we mean by I? In your own words. Right. Let's bring the power of cheering into the classroom. And let's give some affirmation. This is called the cheese grater cheer. It goes like this. Here's the cheese. There's the grater. And you go like this. Great, great job. Please do that for your partner if you think they did a good job. All right, high five, please. I think some of you think, Wilfred, that's a bit cheesy. Okay, that's true, it is. But it's fun, and the kids enjoy it. It's so nice. I was coaching at a school yesterday. I go there, and the teacher was doing a structure. I was just helping her with a couple of things. And obviously one little kid really did well. This is a grade 3 class, and the other little kid just looks at her and says, and you just see their eyes light up. Why not? Okay, we want, and cooperative learning, I'm not even talking about this much, is brain friendly. Okay, we want it to be brain friendly. And affirmations like that, you probably already know this, but when I learn something and there's a favorable emotion that goes along with it, I remember it much more. Okay, learning with emotion lasts, and of course negative emotion as well. And some of us are scarred because of some of our teachers from the past, but we do remember that stuff. Okay, right, now B, it's your turn. Please whisper to your partner, what does E mean and what does S mean? Off you go. Right, high five, please. I'm seeing a lot of this already. Okay, so that's cool. That's nice. If you, well, let me show you another one. This one is called the fantastic cheer. Have you seen this one at all? No, nobody. Okay, it kind of looks like this. Fantastic. Right. If you like this kind of stuff, and I don't know your context, but if you want to, and you want to find a whole lot of other cheers, just go on to, you could actually just Google it. Kagan cheers. Search, and you'll find a whole lot of little videos, and you'll find a woman, her name is Christy. She's quite a character, really. She's dressed in this very just like ordinary brown dress, and she stands there and she names the cheer and then she does it. Okay, many of them are Americanized. Unfortunately, we are kind of colonized by America, but why not make them more local? Something like halala, okay, or something like chinitiza. Okay, could we do that? Or something in Afrikaans, etc. But think of your own. What you might want to do is get the kids to decide what the cheers will be. They've got all kinds. One I saw the other day, it's called the balloon, I think it's a balloon cheer, a balloon clap. It goes like this. Okay, and that's a way of affirming. Okay, dead right. Do you notice that I got some equal participation there in the pairs pair? Somewhat. Okay, I hope you remembered that stuff. I got you to verbalize it. I hope it's internalized. You've got a test coming later. Okay, so what are we doing in Kagan Cooperative Learning in South Africa at the moment? So I've been accredited for a while. Initially we targeted, that sounds bad, but that's how marketing works. We targeted private schools who have the funds to pay me, I have to live, to go and train them. Okay, so I've been to Johannesburg, I've been in Eastern Cape, I've been in KZN, I've been all over the show. Training schools, mainly at private schools. We have one school, St. Andrew's Prep in Grahamstown, that is moving very rapidly to becoming what they call a Kagan model school. Okay, they will be fully Kaganized quite soon, hopefully. And what they do is, I've been there, I've trained there. We have a 5-day program. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is not surprising. And they've done all 5 of those days. Their vice principal went to the United States and was trained to be a Kagan coach, which I am as well. And he helps teachers in their school implement. It's not difficult to implement, but it does mean you have to create new neural pathways in your mind, because we slide back into the same old thing so easily. The structures are not difficult. Was that really, Robin, difficult? Could you do that in a class? For sure. You know, it is a little bit uncomfortable though, because you keep sliding back into the old neural pathways. You need to practice long enough to actually get into something new. Unlearn old stuff and into something new. Okay. So I've trained a lot in private schools, ex-Model Cs. In Johannesburg, I was recently at one there. It was amazing, just the enthusiasm of that staff to adopt and get into something new. I'm looking forward to going back in June. But what we're also trying to do is getting into education department schools, WCED. So at the moment, I have been offering schools out there who I feel are well led, functional, and where the staff is keen. I offer them free training through a sponsorship. Okay. I have a friend of mine is a very wealthy man, and he's put some money aside for me to use to get schools. I'm trying to develop 1 or 2 or 3 pilot schools that I can go to Debbie Schaefer and say, you see there, that school, they Kaganized, look at the difference it's making, and we're getting there slowly. I'm working with some schools. If you're interested in something like that, come speak to me afterwards. There are no guarantees. I pull the plug on schools quickly. I don't want to waste my sponsorship money. If I go there and I find they're not committed, I do sadly pull the plug. But those schools that are really committed, I do my damnedest to give them as much help as I can, and that's happening in a number of schools at the moment. So I go around, we train teachers how to use these structures for engagement in their classrooms every day. I coach them. I don't go and coach them on their teaching style, etc., just on how they do the structure. One thing I've discovered, and teachers have discovered, some don't like it, some do, but for you to be able to use structures in a classroom, you need to plan a bit better. And some teachers who haven't done lesson planning for years are now suddenly having to lesson plan. And just that in itself has raised academic scores in their classrooms. Okay, and the benefits are huge. If you want to find out more about the benefits of cooperative learning, Google it. Go into Kagan's website, I'll give it to you later, and just see. It truly is amazing. Okay, so what am I aiming for? I want to give teachers a toolbox of structures from which to choose depending on the outcomes they want in their classrooms. Okay, so here's a toolbox of structures you can use. If you want kids, sorry, I meant to click this slide. I'm not teaching a curriculum. I'm teaching a methodology. You know the curriculum. This methodology will help you teach the curriculum. Some teachers say to me, oh, but Wilfred, this is going to take time off the curriculum. We haven't got time for that. Oh, that's cool. If you want to cover the curriculum, what should you do? Stand up front, talk fast. The kids won't learn anything, but you cover the curriculum. If you want them to learn something, they will need to engage much more. So it's a methodology. So if we want kids, or do you want kids, to remember facts and information, must they know knowledge? They must have stuff in their heads. Okay, they must know this. They must know that 2 times 2 is 4, etc., etc. So that's the knowledge building function. I have structures for that. Quiz, trade, which I'm going to get you to do just now. There's a thing called fan and pick, and another one called showdown. It's actually cool. Kids love it. And what they don't realize is that they're learning, and you're getting in the back door. And they're learning from who? Their peers mainly. Okay, that's another obstacle that teachers have to get over. They are not the sole source of support in the classroom. You might just have to accept that kids learn from each other. And sometimes that's an ego problem that we do have. Do you want your kids ever to learn procedures? How to? Processes. How to solve a quadratic equation? How to, what else? Make tea. That is a very important skill. If we could get more kids at school making tea, I think a teacher would be happy. Okay, but any procedure, learning steps is procedure learning. I've got structures for you for that. Rally coach, numbered heads together is a great one. I'm going to get you to do rally coach just now, in fact, just to experience it so you can see what we're talking about. Do you want kids to process information? They hear stuff, now they need to process it. I did that with you just now with a thing called pair share, where I got you just to talk about the PIES, principles, PIES. And I guarantee that you've probably retained a lot more than if I just not done that. So if I want you to process information, I've got a lot of structures that you can use, depending on how you want them to process. Do you want your kids to think creatively? Okay, brainstorm, come up with ideas of their own, which they can use later. I've got structures for you for that. Jot thoughts is a lovely one. A lot of kids at the school, a lot of teachers at the school that I was at yesterday, Happy Valley Primary, anyone know them? In Silver Sands, Bardale Avenue? Okay, their teachers are really adopting and implementing. It's great. They were doing jot thoughts. Do you ever want your kids to think critically, those higher level thinking skills? One thing to have knowledge and stuff, but we want them to move on with knowledge into critical thinking. When we're talking about critical thinking, what we're talking about is analyze, evaluate, all those high grade stuff. Okay? That's critical thinking, or comparing, contrasting, thinking about those sort of things. I've got great structures for you for those. And many of the structures overlap all the different functions or academic functions that we have. Number one, fear. In the United States, I know for sure, public speaking. Where did kids get that from? Grade 3 teachers. Stand up front and say something. Okay. Actually, in South Africa, what is the number one fear? Fear of violent death, I think, is quite high. Fear of load shedding, no, not so high. Okay. We've got used to that one now. If you want them to do presentations, I've got some structures for that. Stand and chair is a nice one. One stray, instant star. There's a whole lot, and they're not difficult. Kids love them. Notice too, there's novelty. Our brains attend to novelty very, very quickly. And we have to go with that for kids. You're competing with a whole lot of technology. Do you ever sit and go through your WhatsApp profile pics? So you like novelty too, not just the kids. Making decisions. Do we want kids to learn this? How to make decisions? Okay, so how do we normally make decisions? We vote. We did on the 8th of May. Okay, the problem with making decisions by voting is that as soon as we voted, we expect those who didn't go along with the majority to suddenly be happy to go along with the majority. And sometimes that's not easy. So we, in cooperative learning, we try and look for decisions that are made by consensus, and we have structures for those. Very nice one that we call spend a buck or spend a rand, if you want to make it South African. Do we want them to learn their communication skills? I have some structures that will help them. One's called Match Mine, another one's called Talking Chips. But remember that communication skills are actually built into every structure. In fact, they can't be done unless kids can communicate well. So it's an embedded curriculum that they're learning the whole time. One problem that teachers have when they move from rows to teams is some of the discipline issues they had go away, but new ones crop up because kids can't work together. But isn't that exciting? We didn't create the problem, we just brought it to the surface. And when it's there, we can do something about it. So cooperative learning will help with communication skills. Social skills, embedded in all the structures. We have to have social skills to be able to do that. The skill of greeting, the skill of parting, the skill of praising, the skill of patience. You know, might have to wait for someone to have their turn. Tolerance, taking turns, coaching, courtesy, etc. Okay, isn't it great we can work with these skills? All right. Isn't it interesting? I know that Renee's been in HR. She's the only person I know here apart from Selwa and a couple others. So nice to see you. We hire for hard skills, but we fire for lack of social skills. We fire for behavior. Isn't that interesting? Shouldn't we be teaching it at school and getting in the back door and letting kids learn those things straight away? Okay, so before you start getting bored, let's start getting some interaction again. So, I've talked about getting kids involved or engaged orally, mainly. But do kids do worksheet work? Obviously they do. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. What does teacher A do? What is her strategy when it comes to written practice? Worksheet work. I've just told kids how to do this thing. What is her strategy when it comes to that? Mainly her strategy is you sit there and you work solo on your own, okay? And what does teacher do? She makes sure there's one worksheet, one pencil per person, and she says to them, no copying, and she says no talking, and she spends most of her time policing that, okay? And of course she becomes the sole support in the class. So while they're busy, ma'am, and while I'm there, what happens? Ma'am. And when I rush there, ma'am. Okay, and I rush around helping. I set myself up as the only sole source of support. Big problem. Nothing wrong with that. It's a strategy. It might not be a good one. It might be at some time. Kids have to do that. What does teacher B do? Remember, teacher B is the group work teacher. Okay, she sets her written practice up like this. She gives one worksheet and one pencil per team or group. Okay, and she says, that's not going to work so well. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to discard who'll be the scribe. Okay, so you're going to write it down, okay? And she makes sure that that's happening. And then she says to them, solve it as a team, work together, share your ideas, off you go. And we know how well that works. And we can't grade those papers either, because who did the work and who didn't. Okay, nothing wrong with it. That might be a good thing to do. What does teacher C, who uses cooperative learning structures, do? What could she do? How could she get kids to do written practice so that those 4 principles are embedded? She gives one worksheet and one pencil per pair, and she uses a structure that we call rally coach. Now you know what rally means already. I do one, you do one. And then we get kids to coach each other. Okay? I'm going to give you the opportunity to experience this. Hang in, guys. Do you have pencils? Okay, please take one. Could I ask you just to pass just one per pair? Okay? One per pair there. Just pass them along, please. One per pair there. One per pair for you guys. You're a pair at the back. There we go. You guys a pair. You guys want? You got? There we go. You guys got? How's this coming through? You guys got? Does every pair here have one? Thank you very much. I'll take that one. We don't want 2 per pair because that messes it up. Oh, sorry. There we go. Alrighty, so let me explain to you how this works. Okay, so you have a partner A and you have a partner B. That might have changed now. If this was my cooperative learning class, I'd have a desk with a managed mat, so you each know who A and B, and there's no arguments about that. But for this exercise, partner A is the partner in the pair who got up earliest this morning. Please decide who partner A is. Okay, high five please, guys. Do you know who partner A is? Yes. Please give that paper and the pencil to partner A. Okay. Right. And here's how Rally Coach works. And I'm going to structure it, and I'm going to ask you to work specifically to these steps so that I get the benefits of the PIES principles. So what happens is, partner A gets the page in front of them, puts it so B can see as well, and let me just explain to you, and then I'll say go, and you can carry on, okay? So A, you're going to punctuate those sentences. Oh, something I must tell you. Did you notice there's an A and a B? There's an A side and a B side. Okay, so as long as you know. Why did I do that, by the way? Back. That's so when A is working on their problem, B can't see what's coming for theirs. They have to watch and listen. Okay? Otherwise, what's going to happen? The brighter kids going to do their own. All right? It's important that when you punctuate that sentence, you explain to the other person why you're doing what you're doing. Kids don't know how to do this. You'll have to help them. Okay? So you say, I'm going to make that a capital S because capital starts the sentence and it's a proper noun. And then you go on, you say why you put the comma and why you put the inverted commas, etc., etc. It's important that you explain out loud so that you internalize your thinking and model your thinking to be. Okay, sorry, I'm getting a bit passionate about this, but it's really important. What is B going to do? You're going to watch and listen and say nothing. When A is finished, they're going to look at B and say, is that okay? Did I get this right? B is then going to say, yes, you did fine, or And if they are going to coach you. Why didn't you make that a capital? Okay, don't do the work for them, coach them. Once it's okay, record the answer. In this case, you're going to record it as you go, but then I want B to praise you specifically. Okay, so great job might not be that good, but maybe I like the way that you explained this. Okay, and then what happens when A is done? You switch roles. Are you ready to give it a go? Okay, enjoy it, experience it. It's great fun. It's a powerful structure. Off you go. A starts. Yes, please. Here's one for you. Just one. There's one for you. Can I give you each one of these? That's for each of you.
Why don't we just make it? Yeah. So that's
There's one for each of your card, please. Can I give you each a card? There's one each for you guys, please. One each for you guys. One. Thank you. Now, I didn't do this so that you could learn how to do punctuation if you weren't sure. Okay. I did this so that you could experience a very powerful structure called Rally Coach. Okay. The research shows that if we have 3 different engagement strategies, well, so teacher A, what do? They work solo. Teacher helping. Kids working in groups, solve it together. And using this structure, if they practice in 3 different ways, or 3 different classrooms, teacher A, B, and C, and we test them after they've practiced, where do you think the best results come from? Where they structured like this. Okay, I think you can see how powerful it is. Okay, there's power in explaining it out loud. There's power for those hearing it, how someone else does it, and there's power in having to coach. Perhaps many of you were like me at school. I did reasonably well. That's not cheap bragging, it's just the way it happened. And most of my time doing at prep, at boarding school, was teaching other kids how to do stuff. I never learned for exams ever, because my learning was done then. Okay, it's a powerful structure. So teacher C gets the best test results, where they tested solo after Rally Coach. Who comes next? Do you think it's the solo class or the group work class? Hands up who say the group work class. Okay. Hands up who says the solo class. So it's about evenly split. Okay. Interesting thing is that the solo work class comes second by a long way. Group work, the problem with that is kids hide away. And you don't know, but they're hiding. Some do well, the others do poor. And the gap between the high achievers and the lowers gets bigger and bigger. Okay, so that's the research. So group work's not great.
I just we had this cooperative learning session, myself and my partner here, and I got her to do all the work, the A side and the B side.
Now why did you do that? Because I wanted you to follow this.
How do you monitor, as a teacher, how do you monitor this in the class?
Did you see me doing it? Did you see me doing it? I tried to model that. Did I not come to you guys?
No, just,
okay.
Either way, while you were monitoring.
Yeah, no, okay, great stuff. But you saw me monitoring. Yeah, but this is a great question, because what do I do when kids are interacting there? I'm facilitating a learning process, but I need to be going and checking that they follow the structure steps, because then I'm pretty sure there's learning going to be happening. And also, what will I do with the weaker kids? Okay? I say to kids, if they're working in teams, if someone is struggling or they don't know the answer, I say to them, see 3 before me. Check with each other first. If you don't know, all put your hands up and I'll come and help you. If there's someone struggling, all put your hands up, I'll come and help you. But the number of times I have to help is much less than if they were working solo. But that's my role. Great question. My role is to be checking and coming around and just seeing how you're doing, just like you would do normally. Have I helped you? Okay, cool. I'm glad you hit away. Yes, yeah, Terence.
That's exactly what happens in a large class. If you're sitting with a class of 15 in a class, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Okay.
So teachers normally fall into the methodology that they use to.
Okay.
And so they go to this.
Sure.
Keep quiet, do the work.
Let me ask you this though. If your kids are working solo, are you able to check each of them anyway? No. If they're working in pairs, are you able to check each of them? Maybe easier. So we're kidding ourselves, and a lot of teachers say this to me. They say, I need to ask them to respond to me individually so I know whether they know the stuff or not. But I only hear 5. So I know for sure those 5 have got it, or haven't. I still don't know about the others, so I'm not losing anything. And actually, the research again shows that kids are learning far more than you think from each other. They've got there's at least someone helping them. Well, that is a thing you've got to get over. My day job is training adults as well in leadership development and management and other soft skills, conflict management, etc., etc. Adults love these structures. I'll get you in a minute. The interaction is fantastic. But it took me quite a while to get over this hump. And that's not the 15th day of the fast, but to get over the hump that says, oh, I can't hear what they're saying. I'd like to know. And it will take a while. Thanks. Those are great questions.
I like this activity. I just wanted to know, this learning coach, what do you do with the learner when you match up or you pair up strong learner with a learner that has a barrier? Because how's that
Okay.
the barrier going to coach? And how frustrating is it that's going to be for the other one?
So, you come along to one day when I train in this. Because the way in which we seat kids in their teams is quite important. They're going to work with their shoulder partners on this side of the table, others on that side of the table. A is always going to start. We normally try and seat a higher achiever in an A position and a lower achiever in the B position. So A models one to the lower achiever, then they try with a bit of help, and then they see it. Okay. But we also don't want to have the high achiever and the low one sitting next to each other. So there's a methodology for setting up one's teams as well. I'm glad you foresaw that. So we would have maybe a high achiever with a sort of not so low, and they're not such a high achiever with a not so low to keep the distance. So it's a little bit tricky, and I don't want to take time now because I want to give you your test. Is that why you asked that question? Oh, I know that strategy too. Okay, maybe I'll take some questions afterwards. Is Rally Coach good cooperative learning? Let's analyze it for pies. And this is the test always. And when you teach in your class, you can look and say, am I getting this? Does one doing well help others? When someone punctuated that sentence well, did it help you? Yes. For sure. So that's present. Did task completion depend on each of you doing something? Yes. Cool. As an individual, were you accountable for something? Did you have to perform in front of something? Who were you accountable to? Your partner. Were you accountable to me? Kind of. Okay. But you'll notice too, in cooperative learning, most of the time, kids are first accountable to their peers. And that's powerful. Only later to me. So they don't rebel as easily. Quite interesting. Okay. Was participation approximately equal? Turns? Time? Some of you might have taken longer. So it's approximately equal. But I structured it so that you each did one. Some of you forgot that. Some of you did a few and then, we're supposed to swap. I'm there to monitor that as well. If we had to take a snapshot of you doing Rally Coach, what percentage of this class is either writing or talking? That's pretty good, isn't it? And the others who are listening, we figure they probably engaged as well. Alrighty. We're going to do our test, shall we? Okay. So I gave you each one of these. Okay, here's what I want you to imagine. Sorry. There we go. So how does quiz trade work? Let me model it with someone. Just now, I'm going to say to you, when I say go, I want you to put your hand up, stand up, and go and pair up with someone closest to you who's not in your team. Okay? And then we're going to follow that by quiz trade. Could I have a volunteer? Thanks for volunteering. Okay? So imagine I've said I want you to stand up, put your hand up, and pair up with someone who's closest to you, not in your team. You take your card with you. And Muhammad, hi. I'm looking forward to working with you. Awesome. Notice the social skills. Okay. So, what does the structure say? Quiz. That means ask a question. So, please ask me your question. And notice I gave the answer on the back because I knew some of you might not have. No, I'm joking. Why are they there? To help you coach if needed.
What does S in pies stand for?
What does S in pies stand for? Okay. So he quizzes me. I give my answer. If it's correct, he praises me, says, great job. If it's wrong, or I don't know, what does he do? He coaches me. Okay, we have a way of coaching. We say tip or hint, tip, teach, try again. Okay. Kids, actually a good lesson might be to teach them how to coach as well. Okay. All right. So he quizzes me, I quiz him. Mine's exactly the same as yours. Does that matter? No. I was just doing a magic trick. It doesn't really matter. Repetition is good. He answers. You got it right. Well done, sir. I hope I see you again. Awesome. We part, and what do? I put my hand up and start looking for somebody else. But I forgot one. We first trade cards. Quiz, trade. Sorry, I forgot that. I always do. Okay? And then off you go and you look for somebody else. Alrighty? So imagine this is a class. I've taught something. This is a great way to review the learning. And this is your test. So, when I say go, please stand up, hand up, pair up, off you go. Stand up. want to come and stand here so you can see the answer? Thanks very much. Please thank the partner you're with and please take your seat. We've got 2 minutes left. I want you to imagine those 3 classrooms again. Teacher A, how is she doing revising for a test? She's standing up front. She's got the textbook with the questions and she's asking the questions. And kids are putting their hands up. Okay? That's her strategy. Teacher B, what is she doing? Perhaps they've got a worksheet and they're working as a group or whatever. Teacher C's classroom, what are they doing? They're doing quiz trade. In which classroom are kids getting immediate, specific feedback on how they're doing? They're getting it from their peers. They're getting immediate feedback. You didn't get that right? Here's a tip. Okay. Can you imagine after a review like this, when they write their tests, in which class are they going to do better? And repetition. Changing cards. In which class are they learning social skills? In which class are they less disruptive? Are they going to be on task with this? Some are going to be off task. But when I stand and ask them questions, there's dozens of off task, but I don't know. Okay. So cooperative learning is great. There's a great way to review for structures. About 18 months ago, I was coaching a very skeptical teacher. I won't say where. And it wasn't really that bad, so I don't think it badly. But he had just taught a section in EMS on supply and demand. And so I was coaching him. I said, why don't we try doing a quiz trade with questions about supply and demand there? Their tests on Friday, let's let them review like that. He said, hey, Wilfred, they'll make so much noise, they'll wake the other class up. So, because she was teacher A, and they were all asleep. So I said, come on, it won't really matter. So eventually we went outside. And there in the sand and the wind, they did a quiz trade. When they came to do their test on Friday, every single kid passed. And he was surprised because he'd only up till then had about 25% pass. He's hooked on it. Okay. I'm not saying that's going to happen in your class, but it could, or in your school or wherever. Okay. So, fluit, my story is 8. Okay. I just want to say that if you want to get hold of me, there are my details. If you want to go to the website, there they are. I'll give you my details first. Please email me. Do not WhatsApp me. Worse, don't phone me. I don't answer my phone much. And I trust that you can keep the cards. You can put them back if you want to. It's up to you. You can just put them there on my table. But thank you for being here. I trust I've given you just a taste of what cooperative learning could do in your schools or wherever you are. Okay, thank you.